Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners meeting January 23rd at 6 p.m. We'll call this meeting to order. If you will, please silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices. Please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. The invocation will be given by Deacon Jerry Wimbish from the Mount Sinai Missionary Baptist Church.
Let us pray. Praise the Heavenly Father, we come once again before your mighty throne. Father, you kept us through the storm and you kept us safe, Father. Father, we thank you for our daily journey. We thank you for our lying down rest last night. Master, you didn't let it in there. Early this morning, you woke us. When you woke us, we found that we yet were still alive and still had life, health, and strength. Father, we come before you tonight to plead for this Board of Commission and the whole county, all over this world, Father. Father, if you will continue to bless them and give them strength to do their job. Father, teach us to love as you love one another. Father, without your love, we wouldn't be nothing. We thank you, Father, for being here. We thank you for this opportunity, Father. Once again, we just say we thank you and thank you and thank you.
Thank you, Deacon.
Thank you, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Please be seated. We will come to adopt the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be added? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion.
All right, motion, second.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Next item is presentations. We'll get an update on the tornado storms that came through Meriwether County.
Oh, since our last meeting, we've had quite a ride. Thursday, the 12th, we had an EF2 tornado come through the county, as most of you already know that. But what you may not know is that it was about 26 miles from one end of the county to the other. This is the same system that went into Spalding and caused the damage there. Since then, we've had numerous volunteers and help come out to help not only the response, but the recovery, which we're in right now. So far at this point, we've through the Salvation Army, we've been able to feed, they gave out 1,000 meals. We've given out somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 cases of water, blankets, food boxes, some toys, tarps, shovels, rakes, So anyway, where we're at right now is the fact is we're in the kind of the recovery stage. We're going to try to start winding down. But we had, right now we're looking at about 280 households that we believe were affected. Some of those were minor, some of those were major damage, and some of those were construction, mainly mobile homes and manufactured homes. Most of those people have been relocated either through family or other means. I do know that we have had at least one point a couple living out of their vehicle that we tried to send to a shelter, but they refused because they had some cats. But we're trying to meet the needs of everybody that we can, either through the Red Cross, Salvation Army. We have a lot of church groups that have reached out to us. So at this point, what we're doing, as you see, we've got the point of distribution center right up here at DFAX, and people can come through and they can get what supplies that we have. We've had a few people come through that weren't involved in the storm, but we fed them and gave them water. We shut the food down last Saturday because we saw the need decreasing, and we can find them food in other places. Right now, today, we met with FEMA as far as starting the public assistance process. And it's going to be a lot of paperwork, a lot of tedious paperwork, and keeping notes on what we're using as far as the personnel, the time, the equipment, and we'll be able to get at least 85% of that back. But there's some good things about that, though, is any kind of volunteers that we actually had out there that weren't part of like the fire department, we can actually use that as in-kind funding back, which means they'll give us a credit back towards that 15%. And we've had a lot of volunteers. I'm not sure if it's gonna, what kind of a dent it's gonna put in, for what we have to pay for. I brought Tim Reed with GEMA with me, or if y'all have any questions for him that I can't answer. But so far, I think I've been pretty good at answering most questions. So at this point, I'm going to ask y'all, do you have any questions?
How much longer will the tarps be given out?
Well, as far as the tarps being given out, we're going to try to minimize that, and we're going to break that down hopefully sometime this week and relocate it to the fire department on a much smaller scale. We almost ran out of tarps today, which we went from 53 tarps yesterday to 3 this morning. So we had another 50 delivered this afternoon. Actually, Lee Todd ran and got them for us.
We still have a need for showers and things like that.
We got a family that's still using them. It's a lady who has 2 children with special needs, and then her elderly aunt that lives with her. And we've had some couples that come up there at night after hours and take some showers that Greenville PD had talked with. But we're probably working on about probably 4 or 5, not a day, but at least through this week. I mean, we've had take that number to maybe 8 as far as who we're not seeing come up there. A lot of people want to come up there when there's nobody there.
As you don't have pictures to show
of showers.
No.
Well, I was going to do that. I know I was going to do that, but I didn't want to make it too long, because I know you want brief briefings, right?
Yes, we do.
But as far as the recovery process, we're starting that today. The Disaster Relief Center, which is called the DRC, FEMA will be here tomorrow to inspect the tech school, make sure that's what they want. And if all goes right, we'll start up the first of next week. And that's for people to come in and talk to FEMA about what they can and can't get, And the reality is, if they have insurance, they're going to have to rely on that first. And then after that, the FEMA can help them with different items.
Will FEMA help them with their deductibles?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Yes.
All right.
I know they'll help us with ours.
All right.
We asked that question today, but I'm pretty sure FEMA will, based on whatever their out-of-pocket cost is. And of course, SBA will be there for loans for people that don't have insurance.
How much longer do you think we'll be under the state of emergency? Maybe another week or so. Because we will have to undo that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a discussion for you and maybe the board and
As soon as they let us know, we'll
myself.
release ours, I guess.
Right. And that's and I just want to say we've had some really, really great organizations step up and help us. And a lot of good volunteers that have stepped in. It's amazing to see people come literally out of the woodwork.
We had a lot of different counties, and we're supposed to be getting a list so we can recognize them at some meeting, because I do want to bring everybody in if we can and recognize them. Coweta County came in. The sheriff's department did great. They did drones overhead before the chopper came in, but they had air vision from that too. And sorry, I'm talking a little slow today. I've had a migraine for 2 days, but we'll get through all this. But they did get some good visions on that. So we'll get all that put up at one point and put it all together.
Yeah. We had some really good help from our neighboring counties and different organizations, and he's got the list right there that we came up with as far as the organizations that came in to help us. Can I answer any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, welcome, Becky.
Gentleman have anything he wants to share?
Probably not. All right, next on is our finance report, Mr. Bill.
Okay, I gave you a lot of information in your packet. We're not gonna go over all of that. I'm gonna let you read that. The one beginning with the big blue page that's a summary of the. I'm gonna get that this second.
Well, it's under new business. The other one is
That's the move.
Moody's
Yeah.
is under.
Anyway, this 44-page document is just a summary of the final report the Treasury Department put out, and it was like 580 pages. I didn't bother printing that for you. But
Thank
you
you.
got a report of the bank balances. The general fund remains strong due to great tax collections from the tax commissioner's office, and all the other funds look pretty good as well. Now we'll move on to the you'd asked me at the last meeting to provide you some information on the uses for the ARP funds. There's a 2-page document. I think it's right behind the 40-page document. It's a press release from the U.S. Department of Treasury. It lists the 4 areas that you can spend the money on. Briefly, first is the COVID-19, anything that relates to that, basically. Second is assistance for hiring, provide vital services in the community. Third, premium pay for essential workers. And fourth, eligible water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. Now, in the big document, start with the blue page. If you turn to page 4. What I'm going to talk briefly about is in the uses, you could work out a long formula for replacing lost public sector revenue. Everybody find that?
Mhm.
That was the original information the Treasury Department put out. You had to go through a long, detailed formula. They since changed that, and they offered cities and counties to take up to a $10 million threshold for revenue replacement without having to provide any documentation. So that's what we did. It's just our award was 4.1 million. That's under that $10 million. So what that does for us is allow us not to have to go through several years worth of reporting to like the big counties are going to have to do. So we're good there. Page 6, it talks a little bit more about that revenue, gives you some other things about that.
But we are keeping documentation, right? Because the
Yes,
federal government's really good about coming back 6 years and saying, okay, where's it at?
most definitely we are. Every expenditure we make, our award was $4.1 million. We spent about 300 grand right now. I will mention that we have to commit the rest of those funds by the end of 2024. And the end of 2026, they have to be committed. On page 9, under determining revenue loss, I won't read that. It's just more about the $10 million. But the page I want to emphasize to you as you read this total document, it goes into great details on each of those 4 categories. But on page 11, spending on government services, what that revenue replacement says that government services is the most flexible eligible use category under the SLFRF program, which is a replacement revenue. Funds are subject to streamlined reporting and compliance requirements. Recipients should be mindful that certain restrictions, which are detailed further in the restrictions on use section and apply to all uses of funds, apply to government services as well. Above that, you'll see about 6 different line items with blue checks beside them. And under government services, that includes staff, administrative facilities, courthouses, whatever. Even road building and maintenance and other infrastructure. And then the last one is provision of police, fire, and other public safety services, including purchase of fire trucks and police vehicles. So even ARP will allow you to do that. And the point I want to make is that gives the Board of Commissioners other options in funding projects that we had originally had under splost and T-splosh. You can use these funds to do some of those if the board chooses to do that.
And those few are just examples too.
Of course, yeah. One of our surrounding counties just bought a fire truck and used their art funds for that. That was a quick run through. I encourage you to read that document so you get a more fuller explanation of what we can and can't use those funds for.
And I highly suggest we have some work sessions to discuss
Yeah,
what we need to do.
we were going to
Because
mention.
every one of us are going to have different ideas, I can assure you,
Sure.
but we need to hear from the public during those times to figure it out.
We do have some time to do that. Yeah, we need to do that.
Yep.
That's all I have for that.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. Anybody have any questions? Next item, citizen comment. No one signed up. Right. All right. Next is the minutes from the January 11th, 2023, 9 a.m. regular meeting. There are a couple of amendments under appointments. Item number 5, appointment to the IDA District 2. The 4-year term will expire on January 24th, 2027, rather than January 20th, 2027. Also typo, a vote from Commissioner Emmett Clark should be Commissioner Emmett Collins. So we'll get that changed. I couldn't help that one. Item number 11, appointment to the Planning Commission, District 1. The spelling of the last name of the appointee should be Dell rather than Dale. It was stated the appointment would expire on January 5th, 2029, and the correct date is January 5th, 2024. Next correction is appointment to the Planning Commission, District 5. The term will expire January 5th, 2028, rather than January 5th, 2023. Any other corrections? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept with a amendment?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, all in favor? Thank you. Next item is a public hearing to discuss case number 2022008, request from Christopher P. McCullough to rezone 5.74 acres from LDR to NHC. Do I have a motion to go into public hearing for this case?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. We are in public hearing at 6:17.
Good evening, guys. Coming before you is the case number 2022-08. Mr. McCullough has filed for an application for rezoning the permit to develop a country store / market place. The current zoning is LDR, and Mr. McCullough has requested the property be zoned to neighborhood commercial, being that retail is not allowed in the LDR zoning. The subject property consists of 5.74 acres. The parcels are listed on map parcel 164-037-001 and 165-002. Letters have been mailed out to the adjoining owners, and advertising has been done in papers and on the signage. The zoning section 7.3 permits uses and special use of convenience stores and or marketplaces in the NHC zonings. In reviewing the standards of the zoning in the Meriwether County Code Book, Appendix A zoning section 16.8, the following is noted. The current zoning of the subject property does not allow for commercial within the zoning district. Staff believes that the new zoning request at this location would have a positive impact on the property and the values surrounding. The property is well located geographically in the northeast area of Meriwether County. The property is also slated in the comprehensive plan as an area for small businesses. Considering these facts, the Meriwether County Development Department recommends approval of the 5.74 acres from LDR to NHC with the following notations. They must follow the sign ordinance as is listed in the ordinances, get approval from DOT for ingress and egress on Highway 85 R362, and must have approval from the Meriwether County Health Department for sewage and water. And Mr. McCullough is here for any questions.
Mr. McCullough, do you have anything?
I don't really have anything to add, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any commissioners have any questions, comments?
This is property next to Bonnie Plants, right?
Yes, it's on the corner of 362 and 85. Perfect location.
Anybody have anything?
And you says, it says here county store, but you meant country store.
Country
marketplace?
store. Yeah, mine says country store. I think it's a typo on the thing there, but yes, country store and marketplace. And I think you guys may have had pictures. If not, I have some of a little country store that has a little roll-up store where he has the fresh vegetables come in from local people as well. And he will sell local products.
Could be a restaurant or anything? At this time, or you don't know?
And we don't have any plans for any type of restaurant, but I was thinking maybe set aside an area for food truck court or something like that.
Anyone else? Hearing none, do I have a motion to go out of public hearing? Well, is there anyone opposed? Hearing none, do I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. What's the pleasure of the board? Commissioner King, I believe this is your district.
It is in my district and I looked at it and I wish him luck with it. It's got some good potential with it, so I'll make a motion for the board to approve it.
All right, I have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you very much. All right, next item on the agenda is the appointments, Lake Meriwether Advisory Board confirmation of an appointment from the city of Woodbury to fill a term that will expire January 28, 2025. Did we ever hear any response back? I didn't either. Do I have a motion to table until
So
next
moved.
meeting? All right, motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item is tabled.
Adam. I'm sorry. Commissioner.
Speed up, Beverly. All right, next item is appointment to the Planning Commission District 2 to fill a vacant position that will expire on January 5th, 2027.
I'd like to submit Janet Steiner as a candidate for this position, please,
And that's the form of a motion.
in the form of a motion.
We have a motion for Janet Steiner, a second. Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. All right, unfinished business. Item number one, acceptance of the ROW deed and bond for Chambliss Village subdivision.
Thank you, Chair. At the October 12th, 2022 meeting, the board approved for the acceptance of the maintenance bond for Chambliss Village, and that was the streets in the second section. Chambliss Village has moved on and the developers are now requesting a change in title on the deed and also want to bring the deeds and bonds for the remainder of the streets within the subdivision. So it's not just the one section.
Okay.
This request has required staff to rework the deeds for both phases. The final deeds have been sent to the owners and we are waiting on those to come back to be reviewed by staff as well as legal. So staff's recommendation would be to table this. We were hoping to have it tonight, but we would like to table this until it can be reviewed by staff and legal.
Hearing the recommendation of the county administrator, do I have a motion to table? Have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very much, but I do think we need to go back to the decision on the public hearing because the motion that we put on the table did not include the stipulations as described by Cassandra. So we do need to have a motion to approve with the stipulations provided by our director.
Make a motion that's the one I had, right?
Yes. And do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Thank you. Didn't want to leave that out. Michael, I'm surprised you didn't get on to me. All right, we'll move to new business. Item number one, Moody's bond rating adjustment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 2 or 3 months ago, Moody's contacted us and noticed that they were doing their yearly review of our bond rating. And we provided them a lot of information, most of it financial for me and a lot more economic and potential for the county that Mr. Gay helped me with. And based on that information, in your packet, there's a 2-page press release and then a credit opinion in there. Press release, New York, January 13, 2023. Moody's Investor Service has upgraded the rating of Marietta County Utilities general obligation unlimited tax debt to A1 from BAA1. And that's somewhere in your packet. I think it's right before the court letter. There's a little 1-page Moody's rating schedule. Got a red thing from Atlas Magazine at the top. And we were at B(a)(1). We jumped 1, 2, 3 slots to an A1. And that's about if you look at the chart, that's 4 down from the top rating.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Michelle about it. We'll never get to a AAA because of the size of the county and the economic footprint that we have. But based on the review they did, and you could read that, and it goes into very much detail about how the economics of the counties and the financial position of the county has improved over the past year. So somewhat surprised that they raised it at that many slots, but we're really, really excited about that. What that does for us is if the board chooses to issue bonds down the line, we'll be able to do it at a cheaper rate than what we have in the past. And also on a smaller level, if we go out for financing for any kind of purpose, we'll most likely get a lower interest rate based on this bond rating. So that's really, really good news. I'll get with Michelle and we'll try to write up something for the paper so they can put that in there.
So is this Moody's a national, just so everybody
That's the
knows?
National bond rating. We get questions. We talk about financing with outside people. Well, what's your Moody's rating? So we have to scramble and try to find what that is.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All righty.
Anybody have any questions? All right, next item is letter in support of legislation and the creation of an 8th Superior Court judge position for the Coweta Judicial Circuit.
Representative Smith, Lynn Smith reached out to Judge Simpson, who reached out to myself because there's an opportunity for an 8th judge, but they would like a letter of support from Meriwether County, which needs to be signed by all the commissioners. This would be an 8th Superior Court judge for the Coweta Judicial Circuit, which is what we fall under. And this legislation would include a state paid judge, a state paid assistant district attorney, a state paid public defender, and a state paid judicial assistant, as well as a state paid law clerk. So just want to make sure that that is out there. And this is just a letter of support. This will go to our representatives as well. Any questions?
No, but with most state things, it's pretty much not a choice, right?
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend. Just like cell towers. That's right. All right, so hearing that, do I have a motion to provide the letter of support? And allow the chair to sign,
Well, we need.
and all of us to sign.
Yeah.
We don't have to put that in there, baby. So do I have a motion for the letter of support?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you all very much. All right, next item is to confirm resolution for the appointment of Robbie Phillips to the Meriwether County Board Tax Assessors Board. The appointment was made on January the 11th, 2023. I just need a motion to confirm that. Do I have a motion? I've already signed the letter. Make a motion. All right, have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Next item is report from the county administrator.
Thank you. I know you guys have heard a lot about the storm, but I really want to take a minute as part of Public Works report, say thank you to Public Works and Georgia DOT, who worked together a lot and were able to clear a lot of the county roads. They have since moved from the county roads together to start clearing the state routes. So Georgia DOT really stepped in and helped the county out a lot with that, and we are very appreciative of that. There are still about a dozen roads that have debris to be removed, and this is just the debris that's on the right of way, not that's on the private property, which we began speaking to FEMA about moving forward with those things as well. So unfortunately, it's a very slow process during recovery. And also there is some, and you may or may not have heard about it, but I'm sure you have in your districts, that many of the dirt roads are in bad shape because of the storm pickup as well as the weather we've had lately, especially moving in with this next front of rain that we will be getting. So just wanted to let you all know about that. Let's see. The inmates are also cleaning up from storm damage. So there's a crew of inmates cleaning up, but there's also a crew in the bad areas of the dirt roads as needed for call-in complaints. On a bright note, the health department leak has been fixed. I've let Lori Roberts know that the water is now running in the building. The building has not been fixed, but if they need to go in the building, there's running water at this point. Another good news moment is LMIG was approved. So just wanted to let you know that funding has not come through, but it was approved. So we did receive word on that this week. And Brent's gone over most of the, if not all of the storm and emergency related things, but thank you to everyone that was involved and thank you guys for all of your patience trying to get the citizens taken care of.
Thank you. Any commissioners have any?
I recognize Michelle,
Sure you can.
the night of the storm. She was right there by my side helping me. She was putting radios together. I mean, just pretty much anything that I needed. She was an extra set of hands, so I just want to recognize her for what she did that night.
And I'll add to that because she had called me late that night on her way home and was stopped on a road that had heavy damage waiting to get through. So thank you for everything that you did during that part.
Part of it.
It is.
Thank you for working with us.
All right, next item, report from the county commissioners. Mr. Collins.
I just like to commend all the county employees for the job they did and all the other people in counties that pitched in and helped get this cleaned up. They really came together. And I also want to say I've had several calls from people regarding dirt roads too, potholes in dirt roads. And I've told them we're going, as soon as the weather permits, we'll take care of it. That's all I have.
Mr. Plant.
Well, we can start planning for, I met with the fish hatchery recently and there will be a kids fishing event this year. And the guys are telling me down there that because they were not able to hold one last year, the fish are going to be very large. And they'll probably limit to 3 fish for a child, and you better hold on to your child because the fish are showing to be very large, but plans are being made. So that's very encouraging. And then another encouraging thing was that they've gotten funding for a new building down there, and it sounds like about $5 million that they'll be put back into the economy locally or whatever. So lots of great things going on, but like everywhere else, staffing shortages and the workload is still there. So just kind of give y'all an update of my old stomping grounds. So, but that's it for me.
Mr. King.
And just like everybody else, again, commend everybody in the county that's pulled together. I wouldn't even begin to try to name names because I'll forget somebody, but from
Amen.
the sheriff department, EMS, EOC, like I said, Michelle, the commissioners themselves, volunteers, citizens calling. It's been nice to see everybody come together and unified and trying to work to get the roads cleared out and check on people and knock on doors. So everybody's really done a great job on that. And I wanted to personally thank for that too. A couple other things. I was invited to go out and take a look at the county jail just to see what needs to be looked at in the future and so forth. And with the maintenance and things that could be addressed, I would like to ask the board if we could try to schedule in the near future some kind of work session. I don't really think there's nothing to discuss or tonight, but I just think we'd like to take time to sit down and put our heads together and look at different things that need to be addressed. And only one other thing I was going to ask for the board, if we could, I think we need to put out the bid to have somebody pressure wash the new wall that was built a few years ago around the courthouse. It's getting black and mold and mildew. And I've noticed over the years living here, if things aren't taken care of when it needs to be taken care of, it costs 2 or 3 times as much. And it just that's the center point when people come to Greenville. So if the board would, I'd like for us to have Michelle or whoever handles that, put it out to bid and see if we can get somebody to.
Is that ours or state?
It's ours. It's ours.
So anyhow, I'd like to see if we couldn't have that put out there to get some response back and get all that pressure wash and up to par, at least by this spring after the fall and everything. We don't want to do it right now with the rains, but coming up soon. All right.
And I'm sorry, but I need to piggyback on that because I did have a request on where we were with the courthouse. I know we had problems and we had a lot of work in the courthouse, but where are we? I mean, I don't know
They've
if we-
completed the drainage reconditioning of the
Right.
drainage system, and that works, but there was a leak identified in, what is that called?
Dome.
The dome, thank you. And that has been submitted to insurance. So
Okay.
that's in process. So there's a couple different components going on.
And I believe that we were going to look at the cosmetics of the courthouse at some point, but we were trying to address the water
The water,
issues from
that's right.
the roof or whatever. But I did promise that I would get a report on that. So, but when it's time, and maybe we need to piggyback with the wall to check to see if there's other issues that we need to address on the courthouse cosmetically.
Commissioner Wade?
Just echo everyone's sentiments about, it was very nice to see the county team come together and how quick information was coming out and the things were being addressed. So very appreciative of that, very happy to see that, as well as the great leadership from the counties around us coming in as quick as they did and support, even when some had their own issues. That's fantastic. I hope we don't get to reciprocate that, but I hope we're ready to do it when the time comes. And then just thank everyone at the county for helping me the first few weeks here. There's been some issues come up, like you mentioned, some road things, weather things, and being new, having to ask a lot of questions and understand what's really going on. So I appreciate the help and the support there. And I think everyone's doing a fantastic job through this recent crisis.
They're still helping me after 11 years, so there you go.
Hopefully I'll learn faster than he did.
I don't know. All right, that was pretty good, Adam. I'm gonna give you that. I heard Marcel laugh. All right, so I do want to thank everybody, 911, EMS, fire, Public Works, all the other entities that came into, and, you know, I got to go up in the chopper that the State Patrol brought in. I was actually just kidding with Bren and said, well, the last time we had a tornado, one of the commissioners got to go up. I'd like to do it. So he made it happen. And I have very bad motion sickness. So needless to say, I held it together till we landed. I was green, but the most special part about that is the pilot. We recognized her last year as being one of the only female pilots in the state for the State Patrol. And it's our interim Public Works Director's daughter, Haley Lucas. And she's the one that actually came in. So it was a privilege to be able to fly with a local person as well. So thank you to everybody for doing what you did. And thank you for doing what you're continuing to do. That's all I have. Anybody else? All right, hearing none, do we have a need for executive session, I think, for potential litigation? Anything else? Oh, I forgot the county attorney. He didn't correct me earlier, so I forgot about him.
I have no report, but I do want to welcome the new board, and just express that Nathan and I are looking forward to working with y'all, as long as y'all have us, so. And we do have a need for executive session for litigation.
All right, do we have it for anything else, Michelle? All right, let me go ahead and say the next meeting's February 8th, 2023 will be our regular 9 a.m. meeting. February 20th, 2023 will be closed for President's Day. February 28th, 2023 will be our regular 6 p.m. meeting. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of litigation? Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. We are in executive session at 6:38. All right, there was no action taken in executive session. Do I have a motion to go back into regular session? Motion and do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. We're back in regular session at 6:57. Is there anything else to come before the board? Did he leave?
He did leave.
All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. We're adjourned.